I mean, it's funny after. Like, she wasn't laughing in the moment. She's screaming at me, yelling at me. What's wrong with you? You know?
What up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here for CBS Sports. And you know who this is. He is the former WWE United States Champion and NXT North American Champion. He is as infamous for his archery as I will be for this terrible neck beard that I could not part with so early into the day. Damian Priest, how are you?
I'm good, man. What's happening?
What's happening, man? So excited to do this. Obviously, we are WrestleMania bound. Everything's kicking into high gear. The media, the matches, the excitement level, and we're going to get to all of it. Before we do, I know we were talking a little bit of shop about our swords collections that we have in the background. I know you collect, maybe the Archer of Infamy, but you collect quite a few, melee weapons. So I want to do a little bit of a zombie apocalypse scenario here with you. I'm going to give you a few I don't want to just say, like, who are the superstars you'd bring into an apocalypse with you. I think that's a little too easy. So I'm going to give you some categories, some roles in this zombie survival team that I want you to fill out, okay?
Got it.
So who is everything, WrestleMania weekend, those zombies come back, you think it's a joke, but no, it's all for real this time. Which WWE superstar do you think would make for the best, like, wilderness survival / scout?
Probably Brock Lesnar. I mean, he lives in the middle of nowhere. That's how he lives. So I think he's primed for it.
Well, I mean, I feel like Brock's a little bit more of a solo act, so I fear for all of you if you have to spend long periods of time contained in a small space with him. But absolutely right. Right up here in Canada, actually, is where he likes to sneak off to. All right. We know that you're sort of the hand-to-hand weapons expert. Who's going to be your long-range weapons expert?
Ooh, man, that's a good one. I'd have to go with someone like maybe Xavier Woods. He's a big gamer, but I feel like he's into that, like that precision. I think he'd be good at it. I don't know if he actually fires weapons, but I feel like if he did, like if he got into it, he'd be really good at it.
Well, that PS5 has that, like, haptic feedback now, where, like, when you pull the trigger, right? So I'm sure he's getting a little bit of practice. Now, obviously, WWE has medical staff on hand, but is there anyone among the active roster who you think would make, like, a good medic who's good at patching up some wounds?
Ooh, what's funny? I think for the most part, all of us kind of like we all self-diagnose, and we all like kind of mummify our bodies, taping them up and everything back to life. So I think we all kind of have a little bit of that. I don't know who over who, and maybe somebody like that's been around longer because they would just have more experience. But I think everybody is close to the same level as far as we could take care of ourselves and patch up some wounds.
Well, this might be a good chance to slot someone in who maybe you get along with personally, who when there's tensions arising amongst the camp might be on Team Damian.
So for that, I want somebody a little bit more level-headed, right? So I'd go with someone like Big E.
Love it. Good. Look at that. What a cohesive unit we got going. All right, and finally, who is going to be the de facto leader of a group? You need someone charismatic, a bit of a cult of personality that people are going to be able to rally around.
Damian Priest. It's got to be Damian Priest.
What a stupid question. Love it.
Who am I going to follow?
Well, this is true. This is very true. All right. Now, one last thing before we get on to WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, all the great things about going on. I noticed you posted on your Instagram, you got to celebrate the union of your good friends, Keith Lee, Mia Yim. I see Minnie Mouse back there. I see a beer pong table. Can you break down what this ceremony was like? So it didn't seem to be the most conventional, and personally, I'm all for that.
It was a Disney wedding, so it was at Disney. So naturally, Mickey and Minnie were there, and I don't even remember a ping pong table or a beer pong table. So it was a good night. I'll say that.
Minnie and Mickey get wild.
Yeah, a lot of fun, and extremely happy for them, and obviously wish them nothing but the best.
Looking at WrestleMania coming ahead, you famously had a very fun tag team match that also incorporated Bad Bunny. We have more celebrities making the transition to WWE this time around. Logan Paul, Johnny Knoxville from Jackass. Jackass Forever, by the way, really, really good entry into that installment.
Solid movie.
Right? I've never been to a movie theater where like everyone is kind of encouraged socially to like react out loud and laugh and yell. It's the only time I've experienced that. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's wild.
What is, now I know obviously Bad Bunny especially just put in a phenomenal performance. We've seen him since the Royal Rumble. What's sort of the biggest challenge when it comes to working with celebrities in the ring? Because I imagine the process isn't exactly the way it is when you have two guys or two girls who know exactly what they're doing and have been doing it for a long time.
I guess for me, and I only have the experience of one, right? So, but it would have to be, what do they, how much work they want to put in, because obviously this is, while it's fun and everything, it's serious business, and if you're not trained correctly and if you're not doing everything properly, it can be very dangerous. So it all depends on the person coming in and what are they doing this for? Are they doing it just to promote something, or or they actually want to have fun with this and really want to like do something special? And for me, like Bad Bunny, for instance, he didn't treat this as a joke. He moved from his home to another state so that he can literally just focus on this and not embarrassing himself, doing everything properly. He wanted to really like showcase something special, and which he did, and to the point where he's literally a WWE superstar now. Like, we don't consider him a celebrity anymore. He's a WWE superstar. It is what it is. So I would say that's the most challenging part is how the people coming in, and how they're gonna coexist with our world. Johnny already has like multiple appearances, like he's been around, so we already know that he fits right in. Plus he's crazy like the rest of us, so that always helps. So you always got to worry about those things. But I would say that's the most challenging part, is just getting people out of their comfort zone and something that clearly they weren't. This wasn't their dream. This wasn't what they were going for. So it's hard for somebody to just do this and be good at it when they come from another world. So that is the most challenging part.
I've read stories where, like, Bad Bunny is, like you said, as far as anyone is concerned, is a WWE superstar. He's welcomed whenever he wants to be involved. Obviously, you can't speak for everyone, but generally, what do you think the backstage morale is like when we talked about when someone what's the backstage morale like when someone like Bad Bunny comes in and shows so much respect and shows so much eagerness versus someone who comes in, like you said, maybe just for the promotional stunt and now is sort of taking up a slot on a card like WrestleMania?
So, and I'm being honest, like, just like the fans, when you see an outsider, it's kind of like, like, just because we're so passionate about it, not that we have a problem with that person, we're just passionate about our business. And we like it being treated as such. So someone like Bad Bunny coming in, of course, there's going to be eye rolls and whatnot, but then you see the other side and it's like, oh no, he's not, he's one of us, like seeing things like, for instance, I remember we were walking backstage and at that time it was the Thunderdome, and Randy Orton stops because he was crossing like us, and it just stops and said, hey, I just want to say thank you for showing us the respect, no other, like, this is, people usually don't do this way. He goes, I just want to say thank you, and you've earned our respect. It wasn't even about me. I was just standing there, and I thought it was one of the coolest things ever. Like, I was like, man, that's cool, because first of all, it's Randy Orton, who's the man, and then like just him going out of his way to say that to Bad Bunny, and then Bad Bunny actually understanding how big that is. Like, he was so humbled by that. Like, that was just cool stuff. So that shows the respect. So when he acted that way, yes, everybody, accepted him, and everybody was, I don't know, everybody kind of like was happy that somebody from a different world came in like that, and it gives hope. Like, oh, you know what? Maybe others will be like this from now on too. So like, I can already see, like, when other celebrities are around, how the superstars are just, they're happier these days, because it's possible that people can do us justice.
I love that. Well, and I mean, there's been a string of really great celebrity crossovers. Bad Bunny, Pat McAfee, I mean, who's no longer, is part of the system now. Stephen Amell, my fellow Canadian. So it's been nice to see. I feel like we're in an era now where celebs grew up as pro wrestling fans and sort of take it with the same amount of seriousness that guys like yourself do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You have gone over the past year a lot of tweaks and shifts to your character. We had obviously sort of the Bad Bunny, happy-go-lucky Damian Priest, the title run, the Damian versus the Priest. Now, the kind of leaning into the angry side of you in the aftermath of the match with Finn Balor. Can you tell me, what has it been like undergoing so many tweaks in such a short period of time? And I think you've done the best with the material that has been asked of you and the stuff that you put into it. But that's a lot to sort of pivot to on a short period of time.
It is, but I know for whatever reason, I'm fortunate that usually when I'm feeling that type of pressure and back against the wall type of situation, if you got to figure out right now, like I'm actually pretty good at that. Somehow I figure it out, So I've been fortunate with that. It is, but I love the idea of I have to be creative. I have to keep, like just my mind, the wheels kind of keep turning and I got to figure it out. I like that pressure of I have to be successful, right? So I came in, I was asked to do a job, when I came in and yeah, like you said, the deal with Bad Bunny, that was different from what I was doing in NXT, like the way I was dressing, the way I was doing my hair, everything. It was just so different. The colors, and then then I was the United States champion, Damian Priest, where now I'm literally one of the faces, right? Because I'm a representative as a champion. And then we morphed that into the Damian and Priest, diving into why that's my name and having both sides to me. Everybody has it in them to, be mean and have rage and have a dark side in them. It's just a matter we make conscious decisions to let it out or not. So it was one of those, just showcasing that and being able to control it or not control it. And now I feel like I'm getting closer to really me, where I'm gonna just have fun and just be a badass and just, just wreak havoc. And to me, I'm gonna really enjoy this. This is gonna be the best Damian Priest we've seen, and I'm really excited about just my direction right now.
That's wonderful to hear. And I think on one hand, it's amazing to be able to lean into the things that you want to lean into. On the other, sometimes like with the Bad Bunny stuff, you don't quite know what you're capable of or what positives might emerge from situations that are handed to you. So I think personally, I take a lot out of you saying that, you just kind of roll with it and you take on those challenges. And I think there's something to be said there. You spent a number of years with Ring of Honor, former champion there. What was your reaction to the initial hiatus and news that AEW has now purchased Ring of Honor?
Initially when they said that they were going to, cancel contracts and take a break, honestly, it comes down to the boys and the girls. Like, these are friends, these are human beings. So initially it sucks. It's heartbreaking, like I was like, oh man, people are out of work. But then the other side kind of kicks in. It's like, man, but these people are too incredible to not be successful. You know what I mean? Like, there's too much talent. So, and clearly everybody's okay. Everybody's fine. And then, with the purchase, like, it's good. It's going to stay alive, like that's good for the business. That's good for everybody. And at least that legacy of Ring of Honor won't die. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's that's cool. And I don't know whatever plans they have, but hopefully it just continues giving people opportunities for a platform to enjoy their lives, you know what I mean, and follow their dreams. So I'm all for it. I'm happy that things didn't just fade away for that brand.
What is your WrestleMania dream moment? If Damian Priest could book the ultimate Damian Priest spot at WrestleMania, what does that look like?
Man, well, I mean, it sucks because you don't want to, like, you have your idols and your favorites, and you don't want to beat them up, but
I think I know where this is going.
At the same time, like, if it was in a different era, just standing holding a title above my shoulders with the lying body of the Undertaker, but out of respect, you know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Obviously he's my idol, like, he means the world to me. So being able to, let's say, have a moment at WrestleMania with him, winning the big one to go off the air, that would be special. But now in this era, I think, anybody who has, well, now they're going to be unified, but anybody who has like the major championship, whether it's a Universal WWE championship, are at the top of their game. It is what it is. So whoever's a champion, that's ideally, I want to stand above that person to go off the air at WrestleMania as the new champ. Like that's still a dream. That's still a goal. Will I ever achieve it? I don't know, but I'm going to do my best to try to make that happen. And hopefully along the way, I'll accomplish a lot of cool stuff too.
I bet. Safe to say I'll have a front row seat for that, if possible, for that Hall of Fame ceremony then?
Oh, man, I'll fight people for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're going to see Damian Priest there in the front.
I love it. I hope so. Okay, I know we're running short on time, so just a couple random things to end up on. You did tell a story once about a drunk driver who got what he had coming to him when he wouldn't stop. Yeah, I don't want to get into that so much, but I am curious. You mentioned that you and your mom had a laugh about it. Can you sort of recall your mom's reaction to the whole thing, like during, afterwards? Like, I can't imagine that going down in front of one's mom.
It's funny after, like, she wasn't laughing in the moment, she's screaming at me, yelling at me, what's wrong with you, but then after the fact, she's like, you're wild. And then it's funny, but no, in the moment, she was like, please don't. And then starts screaming at me, being mom, so I'm literally clocking somebody while getting yelled at by my mom. So, funny situation, not for the other person, but for us.
No, that's so funny, moms, man. I was talking to Gegard Mousasi, Bellator middleweight champion. He's like, yeah, my mom only watches my fights after someone informs her that it went well. So that's just
that makes sense.
Place.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, last thing. You spent some time in Puerto Rico, correct, in your youth?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a few iconic, according to the internet, Puerto Rican dishes, and I just like you to rank them. All right? Okay, we got mofongo, which that's the deep fried green plantains, pieces of mashed with garlic. We got the lechon asado, the slow roasted pig, and of course we got a pina colada in there.
For me, the pina colada comes in last.
Me too.
And then, man, those tough choices. I think carne asadas too, and then the mofongo is number one.
Love it.
Especially if you get it from a good spot. Mofongo I love it. It's so good.
There we go. What's the best Puerto Rican spot in New York?
In New York? Oof. I like, there's a place in the Bronx called Made in Puerto Rico. I every time I'm there on East Tremont, I always stop in and visit. The food there is the closest thing to the authentic from the island that I've had. Yeah. And the people there are great too. But yeah, that Made in Puerto Rico and East Tremont in the Bronx is my favorite spot to go to for authentic Puerto Rican food and an amazing mofongo.
Bam. Well, if you're in the New York area, you know exactly where to go. Damian Priest, thank you so much for doing this, man. I want to leave you with the last words. I'm going to do my spot very quick. Guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. If you can, please, thumbs up, leave a comment. Let us know where your favorite spots to eat in New York are. Subscribe, of course, tap the notification bell. Thank you to CBS Sports, as always, for empowering the video version. Full feature with Damian Priest, cbssports.com, in the description of this video. Damian, if there's anything you want to let the people know, please let them know as we start cranking away at this last stretch headed to WrestleMania.
Man, I'm grateful for all the support, and I appreciate it and keep it going. And I'll promise I'll work my hardest to make sure that my name, Damian Priest, lives forever.